This video is for entertainment purposes only and is not financial advice. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Josh. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the new fee structure that Sharesies has laid out that will be kicking in on the 31st of January 2023. The new fee structure was announced at the end of last year, just before we all went on holiday. They announced a huge price increase to their fees, which shocked everyone. So in today's video, I know I'm a little bit late, but I'll be going over the new fee structure, comparing it against its old fee structure, and looking at other alternatives out there in case you want the best bang for your buck, depending on your investing situation. As always, none of this is financial advice, purely for educational and research purposes only. With no time wasted, let's get right into the video. Now, to start us off, I want to show you this article over here on Business Desk, which highlights the context as to why Sharesies could be raising their fees. Now, over here on the 7th of December 2022, an article titled "Could Sharesies be on the hunt for more capital?" Was released on Business Desk. So what this tells us is that Sharesies was losing a lot of money, $25.1 million, despite it having 500,000 users on their platform. And that led to the pricing increase that we saw towards the end of last year, saying that their pricing will be updated and it will kick in on Tuesday, 31st January 2023. So now I'm just going to go through a very quick rundown of the price increases and then show you how they compare versus the old Sharesies. So first, let's talk about transaction fees, which is the bulk of the fees involved. For Australia, New Zealand, and US shares across individual companies and ETFs, previously you would pay 0.5% for amounts invested up to $3,000, and anything above $3,000, it's a 0.1% charge. So there is only one fee structure in the entirety of the platform, and that makes it very simple to understand. But now going forward, they've introduced a few different fee structures here for different type of shares. At the moment, there's a 1.9% transaction fee for the amounts invested up to a capped amount, and that capped amount is different across the different types of shares. So for US shares, that's capped at $5. For New Zealand shares, that's capped at 25 New Zealand dollars, and for Australian shares, that's capped at 15 Aussie dollars. So that summarizes the transaction fee changes. Let's take a look now at the currency exchange fee. Previously, you would charge a 0.4% currency exchange fee. So if you're converting New Zealand dollars into US dollars, they'll take 0.4%. Any currency involved, 0.4%. Going forward, they've increased that fee to 0.5%. Another fee that they've increased is the transfer shares fee. So if you're transferring shares out from Sharesies into your own CSN or holding number account, then you will be charged a $5 fee previously, but going forward that's increased to $15 for transfers out. The good thing is there's still no fees for transferring into Sharesies. So I've summarized here on this page all the fee increases, fee changes involved with this new change. So now let's take a look at some examples on how these fee changes will affect Sharesies users, comparing the old fees versus the new fees. Over here I have a table comparing the NZX fees. So if you're buying stocks on the NZX, how will you be affected? Basically, if you're investing more than $13,000, you'll be better off. As you can see, the fee difference is positive, so you're making a big saving. So if you're investing $30,000 under old Sharesies, you'll pay $42. Under new Sharesies, you'll pay $25. You save $17 or 40%. But anything below $13,000, you are definitely worse off, right? So if you're investing $10,000, the fees have increased for you by 14%. And if you're a micro investor, if you're investing less than $1,000, the fees have increased by a whopping 280%. If you're micro investing, if you're dollar cost averaging small amounts, then this is something that you need to be very aware of. Now, if we look at the ASX stocks for Aussie shares, it's also quite similar, but that threshold is slightly lower because the flat fee is $15. So for any amounts invested above $3,000, you are better off, but anything below $3,000, you are worse off. And again, if you're a micro investor investing less than $1,000, those fee changes are quite significant. Now, it's important to note that this table over here doesn't include the foreign exchange fees. As you know, there's been an increase in foreign exchange fees from 0.4% to 0.5%, as I previously mentioned. So what that means is if we include FX fees over here, everyone is worse off, right? Everyone, doesn't matter how much you invest, you are definitely worse off with the new FX fees of 0.5% instead of 0.4%. Now, if we look at US shares, not including FX fees, of course, if you're investing above $1,000, you are better off. Anything below that, you are worse off. And if we include the FX fees as well, then anything above $1,200, you are better off. Anything below that, you will be worse off on the new fee structure. So on a very high level, the new Sharesies plan basically means that if you're investing more money, you'll be saving more. If you're investing less, you'll be paying more. So if you're a micro investor, if you're dollar cost averaging, then be prepared to spend more money on fees. But wait, there's more. If this isn't complex enough, what the Sharesies do, they've introduced a monthly plan. There's a $3 monthly plan, a $7 monthly plan, and a $15 monthly plan. Each of these plans allows you to have your transaction fees covered on a certain amount of dollars. So for the $3 plan, you can invest up to $500, no fees involved. And you can also auto invest up to $1,000. Mind you that auto invest only works for buying stocks, not selling stocks. Once you've used up these quotas, then any amounts that you invest above these quotas will incur that 1.9% transaction fee and the capped amount per order. So for the $3 plan, you get $500 off investing as well as $1,000 off auto invest. On a $7 monthly plan, you get $1,000 off buy and sell orders and $3,000 off auto invest. And with a $15 monthly plan, you get $5,000 of buy and sell orders as well as $10,000 off auto invest. Now, an additional bonus of the $15 monthly plan is that you also get the NZX market depth, which basically shows you the buy and sell orders of each stock. In case you don't know already, if you do sign up for ASB Securities, you do get the NZX market depth for free. Now, my thoughts on the monthly plan is that if you do have a set number that you want to invest every month, then this could be a good option for you to save on some transaction fees. Alternatively, if you do decide to buy or sell, for example, $5,000 worth already, then you might sign up with the monthly plan, the $15 monthly plan, to save a bit of cost, because at $15, that's actually cheaper than what the current fee structure is to sell or buy $5,000 worth of stocks. But I think for most people, the monthly plan is quite rigid and it doesn't offer much flexibility. Personally, I like my flexibility when I'm investing, so I don't think I'll be using the monthly plan, but for some people, it could make sense. Now, in the last section of this video, let's take a look at Sharesies and compare them against its competitors to see how their fees stack up with the new fee structure. So Sharesies has done this on their blog, fortunately, so I don't have to do as much research out there. Sharesies for Australian shares is still one of the better pricing options compared to ASB Securities as well as Jarden Direct. Now, it's worthwhile noting that the table over here includes FX fees, so foreign exchange fees for converting currencies, as well as transaction fees. Now, Interactive Brokers, which is a platform that I personally use, I've added their fees over here. Interactive Brokers is, in my opinion, one of the better platforms out there for investing in overseas stocks, and that includes Australian shares, and you can see why. So on their fees, $5 invested up to $1,000 invested, the fee that they'll charge is $8.87, but for $10,000, that's $10.87, which is not much more expensive, and for $25 it's $22.87, and that is significantly cheaper than what Sharesies charges at $131, right? So for amounts above $1,000, Interactive Brokers is by far a better alternative out there. Now, moving on to US shares, Sharesies has compared themselves to ASB Securities, Jarden Direct, Hatch, and Stake. Hatch is better for amounts invested above $200, but the other alternatives out there are usually more expensive than Sharesies. However, if we take a look at Interactive Brokers again, my preferred platform, it's roughly $3 per share up to $10,000 invested. For Apple, I've calculated if you're buying $25,000 worth of shares, that's $3.53, and that includes any foreign exchange fees involved as well. Now, I do have to qualify this that Interactive Brokers also has a per share charge. So if you're investing in penny stocks, for example, with very low share prices, then the fees might be higher. However, moving on to New Zealand shares, Sharesies is probably the best platform out there still for investing in New Zealand stocks. There's just not much competition out there in New Zealand. There's not many competitors. It's still ASB Securities and Jarden Direct. The only platform that is cheaper is if you're investing $1,000, and that is through ASB Securities. But by and large, Sharesies is still one of the best platforms for investing in New Zealand shares. So I just want to end this video with some concluding thoughts. Personally, I think Sharesies has made this fee change a lot more complicated and rigid than it needs to be. There's a monthly plan structure, there's the new caps with the 1.9% transaction fee. It does get very complicated. Fees have hiked up significantly for the smaller investor, but it's great for investors investing more than $13,000. Another point to note as well is that dividend reinvestment becomes very expensive. Whenever you receive a dividend and you want to reinvest it, right now you'll probably be paying 1.9% just because, you know, the amounts that you receive for dividends tends to be smaller amounts. It'll be a fraction of what you've invested. And because Sharesies haven't rolled out a dividend reinvestment plan feature yet, you can't reinvest those dividends in a way that doesn't incur transaction fees. However, this is available on ASB as well as direct broking. So even though ASB and direct broking are more expensive from a fees perspective, they might be better off for you if you do decide to use that dividend reinvestment plan. And lastly, there are better alternatives for overseas stock investing. So if you're looking to invest in Australian stocks or US stocks, then there are better alternatives like Interactive Brokers. However, for New Zealand, because of the lack of competition here locally, Sharesies is still one of the better platforms out there for New Zealand stocks. So overall, I think the fee change has been detrimental to most of their users out there. They have 500,000 users, many of them investing small amounts at one time. Personally, I'm not happy with the fee changes. As you know, I do have a Sharesies public portfolio account where I dollar cost average small amounts, and I also reinvest those dividends in small amounts as well. And because of the fee changes, it will make reinvestment very difficult, very expensive, and therefore I will not be continuing with the Sharesies public portfolio. I'll be selling down the stocks in the portfolio for the better half of this month so that I can take advantage of the lower prices still currently active till the end of January. That being said, Sharesies might still be the best platform for you if you're investing in New Zealand stocks, depending on the amount that you're investing. Obviously, if you're investing more than $13,000 for New Zealand stocks, then you are much better off with Sharesies. So if you're a big investor, that's great, but if you're a smaller investor, then it's definitely time to consider any alternatives out there, especially for overseas stocks as well, where there are a lot of cheaper alternatives. So hopefully you got much value out of this video. If you did, be sure to hit like and subscribe. But until next time, take care.